Hands up, if you're running a UC business, you're probably getting two things wrong pretty frequently. The first thing is your ad campaigns promote your product, but don't educate the person around it. Now, we usually have the thing about features and benefits in the marketing industry, right? People say either you promote the features or the benefits or both, but you want to usually tilt toward the benefits. The problem with that is people don't believe your benefits. What do you do in that case? So you need to educate the person about how the benefits created. You don't have to go in detail into like proprietary things, but people are usually not going to believe your product's benefit off the bat, and that's normal. Most industries today are solution aware, which means they understand that your product has other competitors that have been claiming similar things to yours for years now, right? Unless you invented some kind of totally new thing, and even if you did, people still usually need to see it to believe it. But if your product is not completely brand new, a whole new concept, people are not going to believe your claims immediately. So to combat that, you need to essentially treat the person as if they're completely new to your company, which they most likely are, and then walk them through what your product is, why it exists, and how you figured this out. The second thing is that the post ad experience, after you click on an ad and go to whatever landing page you led them to, usually that experience is not good. Usually people go to the site and they're basically like led to the home page or something, and they have to kind of fend for themselves and figure out if they might want your product and then convince themselves to get it. That is not how you want to market, especially not in 2022, because in 2022 people have more options than ever before, and we also have no patience. People are bombarded with content every day, and because of that, they have less tolerance for subpar content. They don't have time to be on your website for 3.5 minutes trying to figure out if they need your product. No one has time for that because we still have the same 24 hours in a day. We just have thousands more books, millions more content pieces to go through. So no one's trying to be on a website longer than they have to, especially if it's confusing. So it's safe to assume people are not going to believe your product's claims, and instead, the mechanism behind your product's success is what interests people more. What that means is people care more about the how than what it actually does. All right? So you're supposed to be educating the person on how it works, why this makes sense, how you figured this out as much as you can. Don't get me wrong, it doesn't mean you want to write an essay about your life story and how you got here, but you do want to give as much effort and opportunity as you can to help the person really get the product, have those light bulbs in their head as well. Because people need to understand how you made this so they can figure out how it fits into their life. So on this point, your messaging should help your viewers explain your product to their friends. What this means is if the person goes to your website or does whatever you want them to do, they should be able to easily explain to their friends why they like or got this product. The reason behind this is because, for one, that means it's very easy for them to understand. If they can understand it, they can explain it. If they can't explain it, then they probably don't get it. And as a distant side note, they might be convinced at some point not to get it. They might put it off. It might not be a must-have for them. If you ever had a product that you think is a must-have for you, you probably thought, and you probably knew that you could explain why it's a must-have, right? It does this. It's super cool because it uses these things to do this, etc. You want to basically make your customers able to answer those questions and have that same amount of passion for your product. Now, these are two of the things that D2C companies usually get wrong the most. And the way to fix them is you want to educate your customer about your mechanism and your products. You want the customer to be able to understand the why behind what it does. And another question you want the customer to really, really get is, why do they need this product, right? Because a lot of products have many potential uses, but they don't, like, people don't know about that. For example, a suitcase could be an easy way to travel and keep your belongings, unscathed. It can also be an easy way to move stuff around, like down the street or whatever, without having to hold them in your hands and put extra effort into it, and use clunky boxes and just get stressed out within your stuff, right? It could be either for protection, convenience, etc. These are all different angles that your product can potentially fulfill, and it's good to have many of these so you can understand the different ways that someone can, need your product, the different ways someone can use your product. Because a lot of the time, especially if you're a founder, founders often misunderstand how the buyer sees their product. Um, and you want to be able to have your angles written down because your angles will make you tens and hundreds and millions of dollars. Um, because an angle can essentially give a dead product a reason to exist. And if you can explain to your customer your reason to exist, you will get the sale. So these two D2C mistakes will likely cost you tens of thousands of dollars at least, probably hundreds. And you want to make sure you can fix these as soon as possible. So those are these two mistakes. Um, if you want to figure these out yourself, I will make a video on that soon, probably tomorrow, and we'll get into that. But for now, make sure you understand why D2C companies usually have their pitfalls and avoid these. Focus on explaining your product, focus on getting your product understood as much as you can, and focus on having a post-ad experience, landing page, etc., that helps the person really understand the reason they need this thing so that they can make the purchase and understand why. So, hope you enjoyed that. Was helpful. Hope you enjoyed that. We'll see you soon.